We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from the Left Lane Pepper Company, it is the Hazard Lights. Hazard Lights, which is a mango ginger habanero hot sauce. And of course, you know, it's got the coloration one might expect. This is a very thick sauce, so you can see, look, it's like, this is a thick sauce. All right, let's take a look here. Camera's going to behave. Okay, revving up your taste buds. You have not read this before. This is not... It seems to imply the ginger is much more present in the flavor than it actually is. So they're saying eggs, seafood tacos. Seafood tacos would be kind of interesting. Or I should make those sometime. Pork. We will try that today. Vegetables, wings, tofu vegetable burgers, or tofu comma vegetable burgers, I guess, chips, or anything else you want to rev up. Oh, you guys. Overstepping here a little bit, I might say. All right, so this is a relatively new sauce company, as I mentioned in the written review, which is available down in the description below. So we've got here mangoes, orange habaneros, orange juice, rice vinegar, carrots, lime juice, ginger, dried herbal peppers, salt, and stevia. And so honestly, the lime and the ginger do not show up, particularly in the flavor profile, which is fine. Ginger is in the name though, so I feel like it should more than it actually does. The rice vinegar does, and the stevia together do add sort of an odd, almost an off flavor to this, as I mentioned in that written review, which is, I mean, it adds a certain uniqueness to it. Obviously, carrots are in here as a thickening agent, and it has gotten quite thick with that. And you can see there is little pulpy bits there, so let's, yeah, this is pouring in chunks, basically. And let's not get this everywhere. All right, so we've got, you can see it. It's not smoothing out. It's not quite thick enough to hold upside down, but it is a very thick sauce. You can see it flows like super slow. It does, I would say it sticks reasonably well. It's not a very high sugar sauce though, so I don't know that really that was their aim with this, but you can see it levels out. It's this really nice sort of lighter orange color. I think it's a gorgeous looking sauce. There's little bits and pieces of the arbol in there, some seeds. I'm assuming that is probably more from the orange habaneros, but it's not. I mean, it's a nice looking sauce. It is about the color I would expect from a mango habanero. So let's get into it. It's very pulpy. Mouthfeel is honestly kind of like a carrot puree almost, I would say. Like a root vegetable puree. Very nice mango flavor. By itself, I don't really get a lot of those after notes. I get a really good impression of the orange habaneros. So on the shifter, they're giving this a 5. So I meant to point this out. Let me show you this. So you can see here, so we have the shifter, right? We have a 6-gear plus reverse. And so this is, but I don't know what, if fifth is supposed to be hottest because it's only got the designations on top. This is the hottest sauce. I believe this is the hottest sauce that they make. And yeah, I mean, it's solid to eat. It's nothing earth-shattering though. It's habanero, so it's not too crazy. It is somewhat of an expensive sauce. I'm not quite sure why though, because I don't see any ingredients in here. Rice vinegar is a little bit exotic, but it's not expensive. Stevia, same thing. I'm not quite sure why this sauce is priced as high as it is, but anyway, so here's a little story. So right now, as I film this, we are nearing the end of grill season. What would normally be grill season for me, except for I ran out of propane last night, so it's cut a little bit short. But there's not. It's cooling off enough now, and there's not really enough days. Well, by the time you see this, it'll be cold actually. But there's not really enough days left for it to make sense for me to go run and refuel the propane tank. So I'm going to conclude it for this year. Or I was going to conclude it actually with this last grill out. And so I was warming up the grill. And I ran out of fuel during the warm-up process, which I kind of figured because the flame was super, super low, even on full blast. So the problem came was I had already sauced a bunch of these, which were pork cube steak. And I'm going to tell you this. So one of the reasons I don't do this a lot, in fact I never do it, is because of this. See all that dark spot right there? It's not actually burnt meat. It is the sauce charring way, way, way faster than it was cooking the meat. The Foreman-grilled, I think it's good for certain things. I don't think that, though, it's overall a great appliance, to be honest with you, because the simple fact you can't do marinades and stuff like that because you always get it'll always burn everything because you have all this surface area, right? On a grill, the reason you get rid of it on a grill is because you've got gaps, right? So you can actually get to cook and caramelize and so on the meat, and where it chars, the little bar marks, that's fine. It's not the majority of this. This one, because the little fins are not raised super high, and it's all channeled to run out, it's really a problem trying to marinate stuff and put it on a Foreman. So that's what I did, but I already had sauce, like I said, so that's what I did. It's the only thing I could think of to do, because trying to do that in the pan and throw oil and stuff in it, you get a lot of off flavors, so I just decided to bite the bullet and figure I'd have a cleanup job later, which I did. It's the other downside of doing that. So I'm going to try this just with it and see. This is just the sauce scorching. It's not the meat. The meat itself is not burnt. Don't get a lot of the grilled flavor that I wish I did. And barely any of the sauce flavor, so we definitely need more. I mean, you can see it's a pretty pleasant sauce. I've got maybe through 4/5 of this or so, give or take. It's not bad. It's a nice take on a mango habanero. Nothing groundbreaking, but. And I'm really not sure about if they wanted it that thick or what happened, but it's interesting. I would not want this on eggs, though. That would be weird. I don't like fruit-based sauces on eggs, though. That might just be me. Maybe some of you out there do. I almost wish I had a flat griddle that I could heat up super high and do burgers on. Foreman does a passable job on burgers. I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought a bunch of stuff to make hamburger for bacon cheeseburgers, right? Close out the grilling season strong. And then I tried to buy hamburger. So yeah, not exactly the smoothest of ends to the grill season. I mean, in retrospect, obviously, the point is kind of moot because I couldn't grill the burgers anyway on the regular grill. Like I said, I think the Foreman definitely has its place. Like you can use it as a pretty decent panini press, sort of. But marinated meats, not among them. I mean, like most fruit-based sweet hots, this really is it's better on the lighter meats, I would say, than on the darker ones. A lot of the off flavoring has gone away though. Now that I've finally got enough room to agitate this a little bit better. I would consider this on pizza. I don't know, I have a lot, but I would definitely consider it. It's almost not sweet enough, and that's kind of why I wanted to try to grill it, just see what would happen. It's a fruit based sweet hot, but it's not terribly sweet, I guess. Really good mango flavor though, which a lot of these fall to the wayside with, and of course habanero mango, habanero carrot is definitely a pretty solid combination. So yeah, I mean, pretty solid effort. I have no complaints. I like to have different takes on the mango habanero. This is not one I think I would probably opt for again because it's a little too thick for my suiting, but as far as flavor and so on, aside from that weird little bit of off taste, it's pretty solid. So definitely a really good entry by like I said, one of the newer. This is one of the pandy sauce companies that came about in 2020. So I'm interested to see what else they come up with. They've got a lot of other sauces, but most of them have onions, and so they're not ever going to be something I'm going to partake of. But I'll keep an eye on them and see what else they might come up with in the future for sure. So there it is, the Left Lane Pepper Company Hazard Lights Mango Habanero Hot Sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.